Hi there, my name is Andre Bernier. I'm a Los Angeles-based keyboardist and bassist, and today I'm going to be talking about Nord Keyboard's amazing Wurlitzer 2 patch. So I should start out front by saying this isn't just going to be a playing video. I will have chapter markers so you can skip ahead to where I am actually playing, but I also want to give sort of my thoughts on this piano, the history of it, and the use case in which I would use it. So Wurlitzers were produced from 1954 until 1983. The very first model was the Wurlitzer 100, and that was a pre-production model that was really just to test and see if there was a market for this. Initially, they were thinking this would be a student piano. So the same way that your piano lab at your high school or college might have a Casio Privia or a Yamaha P125, that was the intention of these. You would have basically 24 of these Wurlitzers so that people could practice on them and get to know how to play piano. But of course, we don't know these as student pianos at all. We know them really from Ray Charles, What I'd Say, and Joe Zawinul, and a bunch of other pivotal figures, including modern folks like Wolfpack, using Wurlitzers all over popular music. The main model that we think of when we think of a Wurlitzer is actually the Wurlitzer 200a. And that was produced from 1974 until 1983 with the end of Wurlitzer. It improved upon some problems that the earlier ones had had with hum, and so it is today widely regarded as the best model to get if you're going to have one in the studio, and the one that is most sought after. And the one that we're going to be looking at today is a Wurlitzer 200a sample from the Nord website. Now I'll say this, they offer two different Wurlitzer models on their website, the Wurlitzer 1 and the Wurlitzer 2. I don't enjoy Wurlitzer 1. I never use Wurlitzer 1. I only ever use Wurlitzer 2, but I think Wurlitzer 2 is very, very good. And so I want to do some playing and some talking along the way, just describing how I utilize this instrument and then how I utilize the onboard effects of the Nord to get the most out of it. So let's move over to the keyboard right now. Just so you know, the MIDI information is just for visuals. It does no effect on the actual playing of the instrument. This isn't being fed back in any way. And yeah, any of the stuff that I say over here can be transferred over to the Stage 3 or the Electro 6D. This can be used on any Nord keyboard that you have. So yeah, let's take a look at the Wurlitzer 2 patch. I'm excited. I just want to give a couple demonstrations. Here's the first way that I would use it. This is with the EQ of the piano section, so nothing with the effects bank. The EQ of the piano section set to mid-range. The keyboard touch set to 2 or medium on the Stage 4. The drive on the effects section set to 2, not on any setting, just on drive. And then the room reverb set to, let's go with 4. So this will give us that sort of modern, recorded, maybe Wolfpack, but in the room kind of almost sure sound. I really, really love this sound for it. So here we go. Here's the Wurlitzer 200a, the Wurlitzer 2 patch from the Nord Piano website. It's a great piano. It's an absolutely fantastic piano. What I really love about it is actually its ability to like change throughout the course of the note. So of course you have the characteristic, what they call bite in a Wurlitzer, and that's this, right? If I play it soft, it sounds like this. You get no bite, which is kind of where you're at all the time with a Fender Rhodes. Fender Rhodes kind of always stays in this range. It's always soft like that. But Wurlitzer has a little more mid-range, especially when you're engaging that mid-range switch on the EQ, which I highly recommend you do with pretty much every electric piano on the Nord website. But when you're engaging that mid switch, you really get the ability to cut through in a way, right? In a way that you don't with a Fender Rhodes. And so for nearly every project, I definitely prefer using a Wurlitzer 200a when it comes to recording, especially because this feels like something that you could go over to, I don't know, your friend's apartment in Brooklyn and they could just have this lying in the corner. You know what I mean? Like, this feels like something somebody would play at like a coffee house. Even though they're like $3,500 now, that's not the way that they started. They started as student pianos, and to me, that they feel like student pianos. They feel more intimate and more realistic. And I'm always going for realistic with electric instruments because I think people don't believe things that sound too polished. A grand piano with a Fender Rhodes gives off a much more expensive and inattainable sound than an upright piano with a Wurlitzer 200a. So I really try to stray towards those more attainable sounds in general. It depends on what you're doing, but in general, I find that gives a more, oh, they could have actually put a mic on that and recorded it vibe. Let's keep going with the sound demos. I want to show you what it would sound like on a stage reverb because I'm a huge fan of the stage reverb. I find it's the most versatile. I'm going to go to about 4 on the stage reverb. Drive is at 1. I have a little bit of tremolo engaged on the stage 4. Both of them are facing straight up like that. You know, it's kind of wherever you want it to taste on this, but mid-range switch is still on the EQ, and medium is for my touch on the piano section, also known as touch 2. So as you can hear, we're trying to utilize a lot of that barking ability of the Wurlitzer, the ability to use it and treat it more like an acoustic piano than maybe you'd be able to treat a Fender Rhodes like an acoustic piano. I find a Fender Rhodes can be very monolithic, and this has a real ability to cut through in different ways. I use it less at live performance than I would like to, but I'll still use it on, this is Dock of the Bay. I mean, is anything better on a Wurli than this? I mean, that's just the greatest thing. I mean, you could just camp on that all all day long, right? I mean, Wolfpack does. Why wouldn't you? I'm gonna put it on the room Verb. I only really use room and stage reverbs on the Nord, and I kind of recommend you do too. I find they really have the ability to preserve the attack, but then give it nice color on the back end of the note, which is really where you want reverb anyways. Hall kind of just takes over a little too much. I haven't played around with Booth nearly enough, but that's a stage 4 feature, so I kind of want to stick to more universalized stuff in the Nord pantheon, I guess you'd call it. Because before this, I was only on the Piano 3 and the Nord Electro, and those are fantastic instruments, and most people, I think, aren't going around with the flagship instrument. So I want this to be, versatile enough to apply to everything. So here we go. Here's the room Verb. I'm going to give it even more. Yeah. Ah. It's great. It's just high key great. It'd be so interesting, I think, to actually do a jazz trio gig with just a Wurlitzer. It would give you a really nice intimate thing, especially around like Christmas time. I think it could be really nice to have like a cafe gig where you just bring a 200A, have an upright bassist, and somebody on brushes. Maybe run it through a reverb and just have it be like, I love the Wurlitzer. I really do. I use it all the time. It's especially great on second verse overdubs. That's kind of like a little Nashville hack, is just start your recording at the second verse with the Wurli. Record the rest of it on piano and B3 and whatever the rest of it, and then just layer in like... It doesn't need to be a lot. I mean, even the stuff I've been doing in this recording so far would be completely inappropriate if there were any other instruments involved. It's really just showing the breadth and scope of this thing. It's a beautiful instrument. One more thing I want to highlight that I think Nord did amazingly. I'm going to play Ray Charles' What I'd Say, and I want you to listen to the lowest note that I'm playing, because what is amazing about the sample that they recorded is that you can actually hear this phasing happening. It's intentional phasing. I mean, it's part of the instrument, but it's this beautiful twist. Here, I'll just play it isolated. Do you hear that? You hear how it dives down? There's something changing in that note. God, it's great. So anyways, here's Ray Charles' What I'd Say. I'm going to do this with the room Verb. Add a little more distortion. We're going to go 1.5 on the amp drive. Here we go. Doesn't get much closer than that. So that's the Wurlitzer 2 from Nord. I'm a huge fan. I hope you are too. It's an incredible thing and deserves to be commended that Nord makes all of this available on their website for free, for life, that you can update your instrument, even that's years old, with a brand new piano when they release it. It's especially inspiring in a world where everybody's hell-bent on doing subscriptions for everything. I am very, very much impressed with Nord's ability to offer us incredible, incredible sounds without any extra money or cost. So thank you, Nord, for that. Go get this piano. Don't even bother with Wurli 1. I think a lot of times when people use Nords incorrectly, it gives Nords a bad name and people think, well, that doesn't sound very good. There are unbelievable sounds on this machine, and sounds that indeed I would pick over the real thing in many instances. And that's a huge deal if you think about it. But these sounds are just that good and that reliable. You know you're never gonna break a reed on this. It's just gonna be what it is, always. So until next time, guys, I am Andre Bernier. Thank you so much for watching. Keep playing, keep telling me what's working for you. And let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see from the Nord library. I would love to do an explainer on different things and love to offer whatever insight I can on any of these various different pianos. So thank you so much, guys. Until next time.